Okay, let's do a quick audio check. Make sure we're going. Okay, sounds like audio is working well. Ready to rock and roll. Give it a minute here before we get started. See how everybody's doing tonight. Cool. Sketching after hours, about ready to start. If you're hanging out in live stream, please drop your name in the chat. I'd love to know who we're hanging out with tonight. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's doing okay today. Happy you can join me today. If you're joining here on the live stream, please drop your name in the chat. Love to know who I'm hanging out with tonight and say hello. And we'll give it a minute or so. Let some folks log in. I know it's kind of late, but we're about ready to get started. Like I said, if you're dropping your name in the chat, just type your name in and let me know who we're chatting with and who we're hanging out with today. See what friends are out there, who's going to be popping on for this evening's live stream. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to come out and hang out with me. And we have a cool topic we're going to be chatting about tonight as we're going along and sketching, and it is about art block and about the sort of your creative fatigue or just in general art block. We all run into it at some point in time, and and that's what is our topic while we're drawing away tonight. We're going to be talking about. I think this is an important topic to talk about. And the question I have for you friends at home: have you ever run into art block? Have you ever run into a creative fatigue? Drop it into the chat. Let me know if that's something that you've come across, or you're here watching this on the replay. Go ahead, type it in. Is this something you run into? I hope tonight's live session will be sort of a fun little opportunity to talk about and discuss. How do we keep going? And I'll explain some of my processes and some of the ways I get over the creative block. If we haven't met before, my name is Paul Angeli, and I'm a live action storyboard artist coming to you from this YouTube channel. I created this YouTube channel. It's going on pretty much like 3.5 months ago. I created this channel to give artists like yourselves an opportunity, and sort of have a mentor out there. And I share my processes and sort of my strategies of how I go ahead and do my storyboards. I've worked on everything from live action, films for what I'm working on, animation, comics, music videos, and all different things. So I try to bring all those experiences to you on the channel to help you succeed in whatever your visual storytelling desires are and what your passions are to get going in this particular craft. And I love this a lot, and I love sharing with you guys. And I hope this helps you all out. Have some friends jumping on. Let me check the chat, and then we'll get started here. I got Tornado T. Hi, Tornado T. How are you doing? Glad you could join me tonight. And my good friend Maria. Hi, how you doing? I hope everything is well for you, and things are going great for you. So if you're new to the channel, please drop your name in the chat. I'd love to see who we're hanging out with tonight. We have some good friends already on board. Tornado T and Maria have been joining me for quite a while now. I appreciate you folks taking the time out of your busy day to hang out with me and have some time and opportunity to learn. So again, before I kick things off about creative blocks or artist blocks, again, my name is Paul Angeli. I'm a live action storyboard artist. Coming to you with this YouTube channel, and I appreciate the folks that are joining the live stream. And if you don't catch the live stream and you're catching this on the replay, I really appreciate the time for you to jump on and watch these replays. I think we're at 43, 44, something like that. Live streams we've done so far, countless hours of content for your viewing pleasure, and I hope that you have an opportunity to learn. Like I was saying earlier, I created this YouTube channel to give you a place. You know, I always wanted to have that mentor when I was starting up in the industry and getting creative and being a professional that way, and I've have so many different stories and things to share with you, and I want this channel to be a resource for you artists out there, you know, to be able to learn from, be able to excel in your craft in terms of whichever way, or just have somebody there to give you a hand whenever you need it, and help you succeed in your progress on your creative journeys. Like I said, I use this as a showcase of to share my creative journey. Use some of those stories professionally or creative things that I've done in the past to help you find your direction and way. You know, I have a variety of different live streams I come to you with each and every week. You know, on Tuesdays I have my storyboarding, you know, mastering the basic series. It's a fun series, and it's pretty much your how-to storyboard and how to you know, get the information. It's how-to and tutorial based. We've done everything in those sections, from how to get into storyboarding, how what are they, you know, 7 key points to what makes a great storyboard artist. You know, we went from you know, live streams from a screenplay to shot lists to every, you know, all the way through to final animatics, thumbnails, roughs, you know, all those different types of things. We've spoken about shot composition, we've spoken about camera angles, movement of the camera, and, you know, how to tell some dynamic stories with that. And then on Thursdays, like days like today, we have our sketching after hours. And the sketching after hours is super important. I know I keep pitching, and we'll be talking about this again today when it comes to artist block. But get those sketchbooks out, take the time, and have yourself a little routine, you know, in terms of doing your rough sketches, and have some fun with it. Get those sketchbooks out. Sketch as much as you can, whether you're doing a you know, a cafe sketch, or you're just. I had one friend who loved sketching at the zoo, and worked on his animal construction and shape language, you know, just at the zoo. Certain people like going in and drawing at aquariums. Some people like just to draw buildings and see fantastic buildings. So take the time and draw that way. And then on Saturdays we have our storyboard jam sessions. Our jam sessions are pretty cool, and you know, it's sort of a chance for me to go and have some fun. We pick out a different topic or different movie, and we go ahead and storyboard it. And I just sort of do it on the fly, and it's sort of a good challenge for me, and also helps you learn quite a bit in terms of you know, what you're doing. So those are there. Please, if you feel I'd appreciate the support by subscribing to this budding YouTube channel. You know, you know, I'm trying to help you, and your help to help support the channel is by subscribing, hitting that like bell notification button to be reminded of the next video playing, and then also drop comments and likes on this particular video. So I appreciate all the support. You guys are helping me do it, and it's great to see. I can't believe I think we're at you know, 678 or a little bit higher right now. I think we're over 680 right now. So thank you so much for helping to support the channel. I can't wait to see this grow even bigger, and you know, to give you even more content to help you be successful in your creative adventures. Back over to the chat real quick. Very much appreciate your live streams. I have noticed a more consistent. I am more consistent with practicing. Yeah, it is so true, Maria. You know, I try to come to you no matter what's going on at work or whatever projects I'm working on. You know, I try to consistently come to you on Tuesdays, you know, Thursdays and Saturdays. I'm trying to say I've been pretty consistent now for going on 4 months, and I just want to be there for you. So whether if you're checking your YouTube channel at a certain point in time, there's Polly there giving you a piece of motivation or inspiration to keep you going. This isn't a sprint. The creative you know, practice is a long marathon. It's not a sprint. It takes a lot of time to hone your craft and put the time in. And it's the consistency each and every day, in terms of what you're doing, which makes you great. So Maria, I'm really happy to hear that this has been helping you. I'm happy to help you, and I appreciate your support. And that's super important. I have to hit a deadline, and I have to have very good work that's delivered, that's helping to solve a problem for my director or my client. I need to hit those timelines of, if I make a commitment of when this is due, I am going to meet and exceed that commitment to make sure we're coming through. But every once in a while, we hit that sort of that wall, that brick wall, and you're like, and you're like, oh my gosh, what's happening? So let's talk about that today, and how do we get around it? So I'm going to pose a question to you folks that are on the live chat. Um, is there a time that you hit an art block? I don't think people would be watching unless you hit some sort of art block or some sort of creative fatigue. So I'm going to pose it out there to you, Maria, and Tornado T, and whoever else might be watching right now. Have you hit an art block? So I'll leave it up for a second here, because I know I have professionally have hit a couple art blocks here and there. I've also managing different studios and that type of thing. I've seen my creative team run into some creative blocks, and I'll share some of those stories. But I'll give it another minute or so. Type it into the chat. Just love to hear. Have you run into a creative block? What are the types of creative blocks that you've run into? Please throw it into the chat. So Maria says yes when trying to character design. Cool. Okay, that's one, and we can talk about that a little bit too, to give you some tools and to help you be able to pivot. So when you're stuck with a character design in terms of what you're doing. So Tornado T or somebody else out there, the question posed to you right now is, have you ever hit a creative block, and what's that creative block that you might have run into? So I'll share a few things with you. Cool. So back when I was working in comics, I was I started off as an animator, quickly rose to the ranks of being a producer and layout artist and stuff, and was able to build, in a sense, my own office studio. And I just remember that it was such a treat, an environment, that, and I was pretty young at the time. I was still in actual school. I was still in college at the time, and I had gotten hired on by a company, and started off as a 2D animator, and then grew my way into working on select client projects. And at the time, I was working on a project. They were able to secure footage from Drunken Master 2 starring Jackie Chan and with Golden Harvest Communications, and we were putting together a prototype interactive comic book using the fight scenes or the fight sequences. And I remember just a quick story. I remember my wife and I were just dating at the time. We were just a couple college kids, and she was meeting me after work at my studio, and she is on her way, and just the real quick story is that the CEO stopped in and said, "Hey, Paul, I have a project for you. I really like you to do this project. Is there any way you can cancel your hot date with your girlfriend? And I need you to come up with some storyboards and some layouts for a Jackie Chan comic book. And we're going to be flying out tomorrow morning to Los Angeles to try to secure this deal." And I said, "Oh my goodness gracious, my girlfriend and I, or my wife and I now, decided at the time, let's go ahead and go for it." And stayed up all night. I had a good friend stay with me. We were drawing and putting the layouts together and everything for this prototype. And at the time, it's pretty much printing everything out. There was no iPads, there was no anything like that to digitally show off a PowerPoint presentation. And we pretty much did all the mock-ups like you would see, the storyboards and the panels for the comic book, all up on blackboards, and I had everything folded up on the airplane, the whole 9 yards, pitched the deal, and we were able to secure the initial investment for the deal, and that was really cool. And it thrust me into my creative endeavors pretty much from there. But when I built my team, I had a team of fantastic engineers and artists and all different types of people. And I had one very, very good comic artist. We would work on, I was writing the script and the storyline and sort of laying out a little bit. And another buddy was working on animation, and another person was working on the comic layout itself. And I just remember, that artist block pops in every once in a while. And I remember the artist I was working on the project, he couldn't draw. He 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 was just out of it. It just wasn't working for him. No matter what he drew, it just didn't happen. And he lost that creative spark. And one of the things that we were all pretty young then at the time, in our early 20s. And we'd always keep our baseball mitts, and in the office, and there was a little park downstairs. And so whenever anybody hit a block, and either I writing a script or the screenplay, or another person animating or writing code for engineering, or uh, my friend who was the artist on the project, we would hit downstairs and we just throw the ball around, and just go outside, breathe some fresh air, and just sort of suck it in. There's so many things that can stop us creatively, and we have to sort of be aware of those conditions, and we want to be in the right condition as an artist to be able to produce the best work we can. And sometimes you just got to get away from it. You got to step away from that project. And we did that a lot, just throwing the ball around. We did different stuff, threw the ball around, the football around, played some tag football. We did all sorts of crazy stuff. It was one of the funnest times, I think, in work, is just when we're just getting started off, in our career path and things like that. But these are real things. Art block and creative blocks are real things. And I'll give you a couple other things that have happened to me personally that we can talk about, and how I sort of get around this too. So let's go back to the chat real quick. We already talked about Maria, yes, trying to character design. Tornado T says, I've hit quite a few times, usually drawing something random but inspiring on a personal level. Pulls me out of it. Cool, yeah, no, that's good. So I've hit it quite a few times, usually drawing something random but inspiring on a personal level puts me out of it. Cool. Concepting usually gets me. Cool, awesome. I'm glad those things. So, for me personally, um, sharing the story of on a professional level there, and then just as a personal level, there's a couple things that stopped me and put me in an artistic block, or just it just doesn't work. And sometimes it's just you're drawn, and just it's that brain to hand, and sometimes I just get stuck. And it's just like when you draw something, and I know this is usually the number one thing that hits me, is just like my drawing looks poo poo. It looks horrible. It's like, man, I just like, wow, you call yourself a professional, Paul? So I look at some of those drawings, and it's you sit there and go, oh my gosh, and what am I doing here? And I might be doing something high end perspective or something like that. And I found a lot of things that help me to step away from that too. To me, you got to take a break. We work professionally. Everybody says, "Oh, it's an 8-hour job," type of thing. But no, when you're working professionally, clients have strong demands, and when you make a commitment, like I said earlier, you want to follow through with that commitment, and deliver that product, whether it be the storyboard or your drawing or your comic or whatever you're working on. You got to hit your deadline, and you got to have those simple tips and tricks and things like that. I love being out in nature. There's nothing like exercising. There's nothing like taking a brisk walk. Right now, we're about ready to get over here on the East Coast. We're about hit in two in the morning. Another winter snowstorm going to hit us again. So I'll get plenty of exercise shoveling snow. Uh, but it's one of those things where you get outside, And I love the fresh air. I think I mentioned it before on the channel. I love fly fishing, and my sons and I, we fly fish a lot over here in central Pennsylvania. Is like one of the capitals in the United States for fly fishing, besides Montana, Colorado. Those areas and other places. North Carolina is another favorite place for me. So whenever I get a chance to go to North Carolina and fish, over there. Yeah, I just love it. Fishing the Smoky Mountains and just beautiful stuff, and being out in nature and wading in the water and catching and releasing these beautiful fish is just it's one of those things. So I use my own things is just get out there and take the time to be out in nature and have some fun with it. So I know there's a lot of times, and this is a big thing. Um, for a lot of people too, is this artistic block, and how do you get around it? So we're going to talk. I'm going to give one more quick little story. I'm going to start drawing a little bit while we're chit chatting and stuff, and have some fun. And I'm going to be drawing something that's fun to me tonight, that I enjoy. I'm a big fan of. I haven't read it for a while, but I saw, and then we'll talk about this on how to get re-engaged in your art and stuff like that. I know I've always been a big fan of when Todd McFarlane left working on Spider-Man and started up Image Comics with Jim Lee, Eric Larson, Mark Silvestri, Rob Liefeld, everybody creating the Wallace Horatio, so many different fantastic artists. And I've always been a big fan of Spawn and all of Todd's creations. I know he's currently having a art challenge or something for his covers for his comics and things like that. So I thought tonight I'm going to be doing some Spawn drawings, and the Violator, some of my favorite characters from the Spawn, as I'm drawing. I know Todd's currently trying to do a second film as well. I hope he gets the opportunity with Bloomhouse Productions to get this greenlit and get this thing going. I've heard in the past that Jeremy Renner and Jamie Foxx, have been attached to the project here and there. I hope Jamie Foxx gets the opportunity to play Spawn. That'd be pretty cool. I hope Todd gets the opportunity. He's trying to become a director as well. But that'd be. I just love the topic. I love the environment of that world. And that was one of those fantasy projects I'd love to work on one of these days with Bloomhouse. And that would be the new Spawn movie that Todd McFarlane's working on. But so I'm going to be drawing that a little bit, but also too, we're just going to be talking about art block and how do you, what are some of the things that cause it? What are some of the preventative things that you can do to keep yourself cool and calm and keep your creative output going? Another thing that causes me a little bit of slows me down a little bit is a clean environment. To me, if I have a messy office or messy workspace, I get messy drawings for some reason, and then so it's one of those things for me personally is to go and make sure my office is clean. Everything has, sort of like a surgeon, everything has its proper place, and I can pick up my elements and tools or stylus or whatever. Everything is ready to rock and roll for me. And I tend to, when I have a clean environment, or I just freshened up my desk or freshened up something in my work studio space, it helps me draw better too. So if sometimes I have to take a step back and I sit there and go, well, I gotta clean up my office. I got do a little too much stuff going on here, so I need to clean up and get a little bit, and I'll see my artwork improve too. So I take it pretty seriously, that, and very organized in terms of my calendars and who am I scheduled to be working with and how's my day breaking down. And if you need some of that information, or how I call it blocking, watch my previous video on how to set up your team and how to schedule yourself in terms of how to keep organized and keep the content rolling for yourself. So let me check real quick. I want to just double check the that video. So if you get a chance to watch that one, I put in the take massive action as a storyboard artist. Yeah, go watch that live stream again. That'll help you. keep yourself organized. See some of the ways that I stay organized in terms of what I'm doing to help you out and stuff. So cool. Okay. So I'm going to switch this over a little bit and go to Little Polly. And Maria, you watch out for me. So if I don't turn on the right video monitor there, let me know. But I appreciate everybody joining in. It looks like we got quite a few people hanging out with me tonight. Please don't be shy. Drop your name in the chat. Let me know you're hanging out with me, and introduce yourself. So tonight we're talking about art blocks and creative fatigue. We asked if you'd ever run into it before, and sort of how do you get how did you get around it? A lot of people look at our artwork and say, wow, you bring magic. It's like it's magic what you do. You're like a wizard, and probably people say that to you out home, whether it be family, friends, or other professionals, and they sit there and they go, wow, you made that look so easy, and it's such magic, and it's a lot of practice and a lot of hard work. So let me get my stuff organized here. And let me get my stylus out. Let's start drawing a little bit. Looking forward to this. This will be fun. And okay, let me move a couple of things off the screen now. Let's get to Photoshop here. I'm going to turn this off real quick. Get my stylus going while we're chit-chatting and hanging out and talking and things. I'm just going to be just sketching freely right now. And just sort of having fun with stuff. Let's just see this brush. That's way too big. So let's drop this down a little bit. Okay, so a lot of people that I see, they run into, sometimes it's not necessarily an art block, but it's more of a creative block. They're burnt out. We work really hard. You're burnt out. And sometimes people just run out of ideas, and you're just like, man, I'm tapped. I'm just out of ideas. So that's another thing that causes art block and people being burnt out and stuff. Is just that arena like that, and is just running out of ideas. And how do you get new ideas? Another thing that people, lack sometimes is a lack of motivation, and with a lack of motivation, it's just like I just don't feel like doing it today. It's like everybody, as you get into the new year in 2024, everybody makes all these commitments of I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go work out, and I'm gonna go get to the gym, and I have a routine I want to do, and all this jazz. And sometimes it just doesn't, people can't stay consistent with that. And so we're going to be talking about some of those things, and how do you stay consistent and keeping that flow going for yourself as you're working and stuff. So and so lack of motivation is big. I had already mentioned before about the hand-eye coordination issues, and having some trouble with that, and how do you get around that? Those hand-eye coordination type of issues when you're drawing. And it's like, how did you get around that? What did you do to beat that process? In terms of, we talked about a little bit, and I talked about going off and getting a walk in or something like that. But how do you get around that? How do you, because you are working on it's like muscles, and you're working out all the time, and it's like, how do I keep this all together? And how do I keep working? Maybe I have a project that's due, and I need to keep working all the time. And how do I keep going in terms of what I'm doing here? And how does that work for you? And just different ways of creative fatigue in terms of what you're doing as well. How do I, just maybe it's just a lack of interest. How do I get, there's all different types of ways um, that keep us, from succeeding and create those blocks on us, in terms of what we're doing. How do we go forward to fix those things? Um, there's just so many things that get in our way. Like I was talking about the dirty desk or something like that. How do I make that work? In terms of fixing that. How do I get around that? Those type of things in terms of what I'm doing. Here I'm just drawing. I'm just like it's funny when I'm just like I'm down a little bit. I'll sit there and I'll start drawing just goofy stuff that interests me, stuff that I'm interested in just a little bit, and how do I go about that and sort of do those things. Other ways too. Another thing that gets that creates artistic blocks is sometimes it might just be just you're comparing yourself to other artists, and that can hurt you too. Is always comparing yourself to somebody else, and you'll see an artist out there and you'll be like, whoa, that artist is just wonderful. I think they're awesome, and you're sitting there beating yourself up, for no reason, because you're always comparing yourself to that artist, and that's not really fair to you. You might just be having a bad art day. You know what I mean? And you can't sit there and beat yourself up for something that's sort of out of your control for the day, and in terms of what you're doing. And I think that a lot of artists run into that where they're constantly comparing themselves to another artist. Yeah, we want to get better, but if you're always comparing yourself, how do you become you? How do you become the artist that you want to become? How do you do that? And in terms of what you're doing. And you're just hurting your output if you're always comparing yourself to other people in terms of what you're doing. So right now I'm just started drawing. I'm just having some fun. I'm just, I like the character of Spawn. I haven't drawn Spawn in a really long time. I think on my Instagram I threw something up a while ago. Had a buddy challenge me and said, "Oh, draw Spawn for me, Paul." Okay, cool. So I did that. But there's so many different, and it's tough. You're sitting there, let me turn these off real quick, and you're sitting there looking at this blank screen. That is the hardest thing to do. Or you have a really tight deadline, and you're like, well, I got to fill this screen up. Or it's the blank art canvas, or it's, your sketchbook, or whatever it might be. What are those things that are holding you back? And, it's so tough. And then you go in there and put the first stroke of the stylus down, or whatever you're doing, it's tough. And so you have to have different things to get you jazzed, to get you going, get you motivated in terms of what you're doing here to get the party started. And it gets tough. This isn't an easy thing, in terms of what you're doing. And so while I'm sketching here, we're just sort of chit-chatting. We're talking about artistic blocks. How do you get around the artistic blocks? And what are some tips and tricks to get around it? So we're talking about all the things. So drop it in the chat while we're sitting here talking. I would just be really curious. It's like what other things, what other pains cause you, in terms of issues. So I'll throw it back to our friends over here on the chat. So what other things block you? We've talked about quite a few different things. We've talked about running out of ideas. We've talked about lack of motivation. We've spoken about bad hand-eye coordination. We've spoken about We've spoken a little bit more about you know, creative fatigue or lack of desire to get things done. We've talked about, sort of the messy area, or comparing yourself to other artists. There's so many different things that block us. But what's the answer? What do we do to correct that? What can we do? And I think there's a lot of things we can do to fix that, because as a working professional, I need to be able to produce the work, and if it's a day I'm just not feeling it, or having a little bit more trouble than another day, or I just can't get the shot right, I think there's certain things that we can do, and with that. Tornado T, that's a great point. Tornado T says, being my own worst critic. Yeah, that's critical, Tornado T. It's that's a tough one. You know what I mean? Being your own worst critic is really, really tough, and you gotta be cool with yourself. And I remember back in the day, I was big in the Scouts, and I was part of a special program in the Scouts uh, called the Order of the Arrow, and I got to go to my first American Indian powwow, and I'll never forget it, because it was so cool. It just was so mesmerizing, and having all the drums, and we all those things, and all the singing, and it was really mesmerizing. It actually threw you back in time, and I thought it was so cool. And I remember we befriended a group, certain people of a certain tribe, and they pulled me and my buddies and my brother, and pulled us under their wings, and they actually taught us how to make our own regalia, all the bustles and all the outfits, and and then taught us how to dance. We learned how to drum. We learned some of the songs, and we go off, and when they had powwows where anybody could be involved and compete, we would go and do that. It was a cool experience, and I won't forget it. But at the time, a lot of people would say, "Well, can you bring your group and dance for us and stuff like that?" And we would showcase some of the talents, and some of the our fellow Scouts that were American Indian. They'd come with us, and we'd do this stuff. And I remember I was so upset one day because I didn't do the steps right for a certain dance, and it meant a lot to me to get it right, and I wanted to do it right. And then one of the leaders came over and said, "Don't worry about it. The people that are watching you don't know how you're doing it anyway." So I think sometimes you got to be forgiving to yourself, and don't being your own worst critic actually hurts you more than anything else. And I would challenge you, friends out there, don't be your own worst critic. Go out there and do the best you can of whatever you're doing, and have fun with what you're doing, and enjoy the process, enjoy what you're doing, and try to just learn from those experiences, and how can you get better, how can you improve upon what you're doing, and don't be your own worst judge. Everybody's out there judging, and when I see people's artwork, um, I give a lot of credit to people that just try, put yourself out there, and I appreciate that, Tornado T. I think you got to just put yourself out there. You're never gonna know until you do it, right? I if you told me, "Hey, Paul, you're going to become a storyboard artist one of these days," or I'd love to get behind the camera and be the director of some of these big films. I'd love to do that. I've made a lot of films myself, but I'd love to be able to be hired on to do a feature, or a feature animation or whatever. And I think those are opportunities, and you don't want to You want to go and I think I've heard punch fear in the face, or just punch through your fears, and go for it. Don't let the art block. Don't let yourself. I'm critical too. I'm a perfectionist as well, and I have to get that under control. And sometimes I'm working on a sequence or something like that. I just need to just get it done. You know what I mean? Get it turned in. I think it's more important. Jake Parker, the artist and illustrator and comic artist there, you know, I think it was done better than perfect. We like it to be perfect and stuff, but you got to get the project done. It's not going to do anybody any justice if you fail to get the project done. You're not going to get hired again. If you can't get that project done, if there's a deadline to what you're trying to do, you need to ensure that that project gets done. So you got to get over your personal things, and sometimes, just that, when we're talking storyboarding, it's the most simplest of things, because we don't want to fall in love with these drawings, because we have to be ready to get some critical feedback, because we're here to try to push story, tell story, and we want to make sure that we're telling that story, and our drawings are, in a certain sense, unfortunately, are disposable, and we want to be able to get that done. So that perfectionist attitude is going to really hold you back. And so get over that. Get over that perfectionism. Get it done. Done is better than, I think it was done better than perfect. If not, check out Jake's. It came out a while ago, so check him out on YouTube, Jake Parker. It was just a great series of conversations on what he was talking about. So good stuff, Tornado T. And then Maria says, anatomy of the human figure. Sometimes have a pose in my head, but I can't get it on paper, or hard to translate the image in my head into something more tangible. Yeah, that's a tough one. When you're sitting there, I think if you go back, and I'll do another, I haven't done it yet, I'm going to do it upcoming. It's going to be on gesture drawing. We did it on facial expressions last Thursday, and I think the human form is tough, and but it's a lot of mechanics to it, and it's, once you learn those things, it makes it easier and easier. And I'll try to share some of our sketching after hours. Maybe we'll go more into the human figure, or maybe parts of the human figure. I see that's pretty popular in terms of helping folks in terms of how to get those things done. And we can talk about that more, and hopefully I can help you. But yeah, you got to find those things that give you hassle, give you issues, and sort of, you gotta punch it, you gotta beat it, and it takes time to do those things. But if you're always scared of something, you're never gonna accomplish that thing that you're scared of if you don't just go for it. I just there's so many projects that you'll, if you have fear always all the time, and you're like, I don't know if I could do this, I don't know if I could get these things done. I think it's something you just got to go for it and do it. It's that old Nike, just do it, and that goes for your artwork too, and I think it's super important. Keep the chat going. I'm having fun taking a look over while I'm drawing, and let's talk about some fixes, in terms of how do you fix these things, how do you get through this, in terms of when you're drawing, and how do I get out of this particular issue, and how, where can I go from there, in terms of helping yourself to grow and be and be successful in terms of what you're doing. I think when it comes out of running out of ideas, um, in that particular topic of, hey, listen, I'm in a pure blank, Polly, and I don't know what to do, and I don't know what ideas I need to be working on, and just nothing's flowing to me. Sometimes those type of things, I think it's important too to go and start a project for yourself, whether you're working on a comic or a comic or a comic strip or an illustration project, or maybe you're just designing some little cards or something, or you're going to do a little flip book or something like that. I think it's important to, you know, give yourself a project. I think with a project too, you can have a deadline to it, and give yourself, to help you. So when you have an idea, when you have a bigger project that you're working on, it helps you to stay focused and come up with some new creative ideas in terms of what you're doing to be successful. And when you get a project, you're thinking about all the ideas for the project. There's different ways that you can put things together for yourself too. Sometimes when it comes to ideas or whatever, I think projects are good. And like I said, make a bigger project for yourself, and then go execute that bigger project in terms of what you're doing, and have some fun with it. The other part is just running out of, lack of motivation. How do you deal with lack of motivation in terms of what you're doing? I think when you have lack of motivation, you just got to get away from it a little bit, or look at it at a different angle. Here I'm, let's just say I'm out of motivation, and I'm just going to draw something I enjoy drawing. I'm drawing the Spawn character here, having some fun with it while I'm chatting with you guys, and just doing my own rendition. I love this character. I think it's fun. I used to draw study Todd McFarlane and Greg Capullo and all the different artists that have worked on the Spawn comic and stuff. And like I said before, that'd be like a coolest thing, is to be able to work on the Spawn movie or something like that. That'd be so cool. I just think it's a fun character to work on, and have fun with it and stuff. And I think just by drawing just for fun, gets you reinvigorated, gets you back, gets you motivated, and you can have some fun with this, and do some cool drawings, and just sort of get to work with these different things. So, sometimes you can just get going with just a scribble, get yourself, back in motivation, some of those where it's just a single line drawing or whatever it might be, to get yourself refocused in terms of what you're doing, and how to go about that. So yeah, drawing things you love, things you enjoy drawing, gets you back into the swing of things. Here I'm just going from my imagination and having some fun, drawing Spawn, and having some fun with it. I think when I'm drawing Spawn too, it's a cool character, and then I always liked how he had that plasma energy, using his power and stuff like that. I think that was always sort of cool. Let's just see if I can replicate something with that. It's just there, and he had this. I just think it's cool coming off his eyes and stuff. I just think it's sort of cool. Yeah, very cool stuff. Cool character. Fun to draw. I haven't drawn him in a long time. Just create this little. Whatever it might be. I just think it's fun. That's cool. Yeah, like I said, Todd McFarlane is having like a cover contest right now. So that's another way to get motivated back again is, going and doing like challenge, like a challenge or a contest or something. I've seen all sorts of artists go and, are competing to have, I think Todd's going to pick out certain, pieces of artwork and put them as the covers or something like that for his books. And that's pretty slick. I thought that was a cool idea. So if you're one of those artists out there that are struggling and sort of have that artistic block, I think going and entering into a challenge like that would be sort of fun to do and have some fun. It gets you a project to work on. You're forced to do. So you're forcing yourself to do this, these creative abilities and stuff, and sort of have fun with it, and possibly you could win. I remember back in the day, there was a magazine called Wizard Magazine, and I was big in special effect makeup and things like that. And I had a buddy of mine, and the Crow movie had come out, and I thought it was pretty cool. So what I did was because I was doing makeup on prosthetics and things like that. So I had him, made him an outfit, and I did all of his makeup work and turned him into Brandon Lee. Brandon Lee's character, the Crow, that came out during the when did it come out? It was like, oh gosh, that was like late 80s, late 80s, early 90s, somewhere in there before Brandon Lee passed away. This is Bruce Lee's son. And so I did my buddy up as Eric Draven, something like that, from The Crow. And so, which was James O'Barr did the creation of the character. So I did him all up as the Crow, grabbed his guitar, grabbed some prop weapons and things like that. We went into graveyards and things like that. I don't even know. Let me see if I have it. Give me 2 seconds here. Let's see if I can show it. I don't think I have the photo here. Let me see here. I have the actual. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Oh, shoot. Here it is. But of all things, it was, here, let me put it on the big screen. It was sort of fun. I found it in my little office thing here. Where's Big Paw? Okay, let's get back that real quick. Boom. Okay, here we go. So I got my artwork in Wizard Magazine, or my photo that I did of my buddy Chris, and at the time, and then I entered him into this wizard contest, and I guess I was picked as one of the winners of the makeup contest of what we did, and that was pretty cool. So and that's sort of ironic that Todd McFarlane's The Violator was on the front of that Wizard magazine. So that was really cool. When did this come out? 1994. So that was a cool little thing there, and that happened and stuff, and I won all sorts of cool stuff with that thing, but it's just fun. So put yourself out there, you know what I mean? Enter a contest, have some fun with your artwork, and do that up that way. Let's take a look at the chat. I don't want to forget anybody on the chat. HMT, how you doing? No worries. Happy for you to join. Happy you're chilling out with us. tonight and stuff. So Tornado T says, haven't seen one of those in a long time. Yeah, no, that was the one I was in, so that was pretty cool. So I won't forget that one. Like I said, I was doing, and we were talking about different artistic abilities. Besides animation, I got into theater makeup back in the early 90s. And it's sort of what you see on Face Off today, but this was back in the early 90s. And I remember taking this theater makeup class, and I was sort of disappointed because I was ready to do, let's make some Star Wars creatures, man. Let's get this going. And it ended up being like they had us buy a makeup kit, and it was like base, foundation, grease pencils and stuff like that, and something that you would see in the theater with an actor like Peter O'Toole, and doing Macbeth or something, And I was like, what the heck is this stuff? I want to make because I want some rubber latex. I want to get some foam latex and things like that. So I super got into it, and I had a whole, like you see on that Face Off show, I had the whole bust of my upper body, did a full casting of everything. I was making rubber masks to appliances and doing all sorts of stuff. And at the time, I remember Lucasfilm at the time was doing internships for college students, and I submitted all my stuff into the creature shop because I was like, I'm going to work in the creature shop. And for me it was like so exciting and stuff. So I sent in all my work and all that stuff, and all my buddies were finding out they weren't getting accepted. And then I was like, the deadline passed, and I was like, well, I never heard anything back. What happened? So I called the folks over at Lucasfilm, and I was like, hey, what's going on? Did I get in? I don't know. And they said, well, Paul, we sort of don't do that stuff so much anymore, and we ported all your stuff over to at the time it was the gaming side, LucasArts, the gaming side, and I guess I missed the deadline by one day by the time they got it over there. So unfortunately, that's one of those coulda, shoulda, woulda beens. But I've never lost the passion of doing like makeup and sculpture and stuff like that. So when you have an artistic block, change it up a little bit. Go to one of your other creative abilities. Whether it be music or if you write or play music. I know my eldest son, he's a fantastic guitar player, and every time I see him in deep thought or after, excuse me, big studies or something like that, he'll just be sitting there playing on his acoustic guitar or bust out his electric guitar and just sitting there playing and having a good time in his own little world. And I think having those different ways of working your creative abilities helps out a lot. So cool. Happy to have you join in, HMT. Yeah, I know. I haven't seen a Wizard magazine in a long time, and I got a couple over here that I was in, and I just sort of saved those as mementos and stuff like that. So Maria said, if you talked about this before, but is there a way that you motivate yourself to draw? Okay, so yeah, I would say there's a lot of ways, and we'll talk about more of those ways to motivate yourself to draw in terms of what you're doing. I think one of the reasons why I got into storyboarding, it was my kids, and I'm a big movie buff, movie fan, and I just remember they were really young, and they came up to me, and sort of as they got a little bit more mature, and they were like, they go into dad's office and see things and discover new things and stuff, and they're like, wow, dad, you're a really good artist. And they see different things as they were growing up. And I remember we were sitting there watching a movie, and one of my sons looked over at me like, Dad, why don't you stop watching this stuff and start making it? And I said, you're sitting there talking to a child, and you're sitting there going, buddy, you're right. Let's go do it. So when you talk about inspiration, I always think about my boys, and kicking your butt into high gear to get you going, and what you truly want to be doing, and having fun with it. So, but we'll talk about a bunch of things tonight, Maria, while I'm drawing. And let's get on to the next drawing, and let's talk about more about ways to get yourself jazzed about drawing again. Right now, we've talked about taking a break, get outside, take a walk. Like like tomorrow morning, I know I'm going to be shoveling some snow, so it'll be good. Get your heart pumping and get you going, walking around. I gave you the example of the professional environment with the studio atmosphere and just going out and throwing the ball around a little bit, having some fun with that. We've talked about doing some artistic challenges. We've talked about draw things that you enjoy drawing. Yeah, you might be drawing human figures in a fight sequence or something for a professional project, but you just it doesn't feel right. You're trying to get that perspective right. You're trying to get the anatomy right. Doesn't it's not working for you. Go draw something you enjoy. If you like drawing little chibi characters, have fun drawing those little characters. That's why I'm sort of I'm using the example of drawing something I enjoy. I love the character of Spawn and that sort of world. So I'm sort of having fun drawing that tonight as we're talking, and give yourself some ideas there. Another thing too, Maria and friends out there that are watching here on the live event here for the live stream or watching on the replay is there's a lot of things out there for drawing prompts, or there's like Inktober and there's like Mermay and all these different little contest things and stuff like that. But join some of those things and or a daily prompt thing and do the daily prompts. Those help you get motivated in terms of what you're doing and having those daily prompts, whether it be I think Inktober is a fun thing to do, and have some fun with that. And there's a lot of things you can do with it in terms of drawing prompts and those type of things, and you could really have some fun with it. As I'm drawing here right now, another cool character I always liked from the Spawn universe was the Violator. The clown was always sort of wicked there. I think John Leguizamo played the Spawn character, the Violator in the Spawn movie, and I just thought it was sort of cool. And I think when they did the Spawn movie, Industrial Lights and Magic was doing the Violator itself. It just, and if you watch the HBO show of the Spawn, which was pretty popular at the time, that was always a pretty cool series and show. Just cool stuff. It was a crazy, and I always loved the jaw. Never made any sense, but it would just went out forever. And when you're drawing and having fun, and I'm just sort of freestyling from my brain right now as we're drawing here together. It's just sort of cool. I just having fun with this. And I just think it was a fun character to play around with. And so I haven't done this for a while, but I do that sometimes when I'm like just not feeling it. I want to do something cool and different, and I'll draw something I normally don't draw. And oops, I'm sorry, Maria, you forgot to remind me. Let me turn this off. Maria was helping me out last live session. I'll forget to turn my video camera off. There we go. Go back to our drawing here. Sorry about that, friends. Just a crazy character. Just like... just has such a wicked way of looking at the spine on him and all sorts of stuff. Maria's like, I got into my drawing too, Polly. No, I appreciate it, Maria. Every time you catch me on that, I'm like, oh, darn it, not again. I just saw myself. I was looking back at the recording going, oh man, I missed it. So we were talking about just different strategies to draw. We were talking about drawing prompts and those type of things to help you get over your blockage and stuff. And I think drawing prompts are a cool thing to do. Um, Sometimes with your let's go back to the drawing, and you sort of have a sometimes you have a disconnect with the way your brain is talking to your hand, and I think that's certain times you got to go and take a break in terms of what you're doing, and I think it's super important to take that break every now and then. To not get into a creative issue in terms of how you're drawing. And I think when it's not working together, go stretch out. Go do something else for a little while. If you're always working all the time and never taking a break, I think it's important to do so in terms of keeping yourself focused and keeping the hand-eye coordination going. It's exercising. It's whether if you're a walker or a jogger or a weightlifter, those type of things. Take the time and go jog, get out of the house. Like I told you, I'm gonna have to shovel some snow tomorrow. I think it's important to take micro breaks and stretch breaks and those type of things in terms of what you're doing. I have my glasses on all the time, and sometimes I just got to get away and rub my eyes and relax a little bit, do those little micro stretches and things. Get up out of your chair in your workplace if you're a creative working in your studio environment with everybody else. Take care of your well-being, take care of your mind, your body, your soul, your relationships, those type of things. I think there's a lot of things that cause creative blocks, and you got to be ready to rock and roll and be able to compartmentalize your thoughts and stuff and stay focused. And sometimes little routines. So Maria asked earlier too, how do you keep going? Well, I give myself deadlines. And like, how quickly am I busting out sketches? As my board's coming out, maybe 4 minutes a shot, what are those things? What are some tips and tricks? And as I show different things to good friends out there, it's like, these are the tips and tricks that help me get my projects done and give myself that. It's sort of like when you're playing music and you got the TikToker going and stuff, swinging back and forth to give yourself some time frames. Maria says, do you use Pomodoro, or how do you manage your time and projects? Okay, so when I manage my time, I think focus is everything. I'm very scheduled out to my days. I call it blocking. So if you watch that, I think it was Take Massive Action. I talk about blocking, and I'll block out my day of things I need to do at home. If I'm working remotely today or I have to be somewhere, I will have my day blocked out, and for the tasks I need to do at home. To keep my home and family going, but also to with my work, and I have scheduled times. I'll give you an example. Like we do the live stream 3 times a week. I have a block that I give myself those 3 days, and I know this isn't the most opportune time for everybody to jump on the live stream, but it's my quiet time. I'm here in the office. Everybody's gone to sleep for the night. I'm away for them, so I'm not bothering them. They can sleep, and I'm running this. I usually start at 11:45 p.m. and sometimes we go till 1:30 in the morning my time over here on the East Coast, and depending on how I'm feeling and keeping the jazz going and the juices going, I'll try to stay as long as I can because I'm passionate about reaching out to you folks, and it blocks that time for me. So that's my time to help teach and help others out there in our creative community work on their things, and that's sort of how I stay consistent. I think being scheduled and scheduling yourself for your tasks that you're trying to complete helps you get things done. It helps you keep on point, helps you meet the goals you're trying to execute, is when you have a plan to your day. If you just come in sort of willy-nilly, like I sort of want to do this, when I have a deadline of I'm going to get this done by this time, this done this by this time, it helps you to do that. I have never used Pomodoro, but I use my own sort of Excel spreadsheets, or sometimes I just write it by hand, and I have like a blocking system I do, and I'll make it into either 15, 30, or 1 hour blocks, and how many blocks I give to what I'm working on. I find those parts of the day that I work best and I feel most creative and most energized. Um, it all depends on the day. I think my buddy Eric Yamamoto was joking with me the other day. He's like, "Where do you get the energy, Paul? Where do you get it from?" I think it's the desire to be successful. I think it's the desire to help share. I think it's the making sure I come through and on my commitments on my end. Because I got a lot of you friends out there, texting me and DMing me and saying, "Hey, Paul, I can't make it tonight, but I'll make it tomorrow night or on Saturday. I want to be there and have this as a resource for you, and I'm passionate about there and growing this YouTube channel. So I'm committed to what I'm doing and committed to my friends out there that are helping to support me. And I know a lot of YouTubers are getting out of the YouTube business and those type of things, but I think it's still in its infancy. But I think you have to have an organized way of what you're doing, and go through your process. And I think when you have goals that you've set and milestones that you've set and commitments you've made, and you have your schedule blocked out for yourself, and everybody does different, what do they call it, Notion things that people do, bullet journaling, whatever it might be, whatever way. If you need a file of facts to keep yourself organized, or you can keep yourself organized on your phone or organized in some sort of shape or form, you can have you sort of have, and sort of your ratio of how long does it take me for me to produce 1,000 shots, for a storyboard. You need to be able to knock those things out, and that's where all the practice comes in. I'm sitting here drawing the violator. I'm just drawing from what I remember what the violator sort of looks like, and just having fun with it. So I'm going to continue drawing here on this character, and I hope that answers your question, Maria, and helps you out. So if you guys have any questions, drop them into the chat. I'd love to answer it while I'm sitting here drawing away and having some fun with this violator. And again, if you're watching the channel here, I'd appreciate the support. Please subscribe to the channel. Help support this community and help support this channel. I really appreciate it. We've grown this. Let me see what we've grown into real quick. See where we're at here, friends. Let's go to the dashboard real quick. We're at 681 subscribers. That's pretty awesome, and that's only for we're just right here in the 3.5 month marker right now. So that's awesome, and I appreciate everybody's support. And for you at home watching the replay, and for you watching right now, I know a lot of you that are watching right now have already supported the channel, so I thank you so much. But if you're watching this in the replay or new to the channel, hey, I could use your support. It lets me know that you enjoy the content I'm bringing to you. I hope it's useful, and I hope you can learn something and put this into the way you do your creativity, and sort of learning from my journey and sort of my processes on how to keep yourself going and succeed and hit those goals if you're trying to become a visual storyteller, where you're a storyboard artist for live action, animation, YouTube videos. You're a budding filmmaker. You're in art school right now, or you're out there trying to break into the industry. This is the right channel for you to help you grow. So I appreciate you taking the time to hang out, subscribe, and sort of party with me as we're learning together, and be able to give you some tools, tips, and tricks, and give you some of the cheat codes on how you can be successful for what you're doing. So very cool. Okay, so back to my violator picture here that I've been drawing. And so, the other thing too is I think when you come into a creative fatigue in terms of an issue like that, and you're like, I'm totally zonked out, I can't do this anymore, I think that's the time to take a break. Take a short break, chill out, I think there's different things you can be doing, with your time and to get rejuvenated a little bit, That's where vacations come into play, or seeing something new, taking a trip somewhere. There's all different things to help you get to where you want to go, and I think that's pretty cool to do. You need to have that time away to recharge the jets, recharge the engine of what you're doing. I think it's super important to recharge and go and find that passion again, and then get back into it. Don't let it dawdle too long, but find that passion, get back into it, and get rolling again. I think it's super important. And like I said, do some drawing prompts, do some drawing challenges. Like I've talked about this Todd McFarlane cover contest he's been promoting and doing right now, and I think they're on their third week right now of doing this stuff. And challenge yourself, do those things. There's all sorts of contests out there too, and I think it's pretty cool. That there's so many different things, or design challenges, and I think it's one of those cool things to do to help yourself and help you grow or get out of a funk or whatever that might be happening for you right now. I think those are critical things to help yourself with. So let's talk about some other strategies of how you can help yourself and stuff, and like I said, step away for a little bit for the time being. I think that's super important, is to step away and just sort of relax a little bit, see things in a different angle a little bit, and then come back fresh. Don't let it dally too long, but then you can come back fresh and do those things that you want to be doing. Another thing too is to show up. I usually talk to my youngest son. He's a wrestler, a varsity wrestler, and you just have half the battle of just showing up. Show up to practice. When you're hurting, or you just need a rejuvenation, and you're there battling it out every day, or you had a bad bout that week, or whatever it might be. Take the time, and but you gotta show up. You got chips are down and things are going on, but you gotta show up. And I think that's super important, is showing up and making that stuff happen for yourself. I think that's part of the process, is showing up. Show up to work. Show up. Be present. Get going, and do those things. Another little thing too that you can help yourself with as well is when you're looking at a huge project or a huge task, break those tasks up. Break them into smaller little bite-sized chunks. So for example, let's just say, I want to do some sort of picture book or something, or I want to sell a sketchbook or something. We'll do a couple sketches. Break things Like they always say, to eat an elephant, you do it one piece or one bite at a time. Um, do those things to get yourself going there, and just have fun with it. And but when you have this sort of bite-sized pieces, it makes your life a little bit easier in terms of what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish. So, like I said before, it's like have those bite-sized pieces a little bit in terms of what you're doing. And it helps you to stay focused. It helps you get those things done, and I think that's a pretty cool strategy too, in terms of how you can work and stuff. Is by you know taking large projects and turning them into little bite-sized projects for yourself. Let's try that one more time here on this one. So that's a good way to get things done too. The other thing too, and I mentioned this about my oldest son, is like when you're having a creative block on one situation, um, go into a different creative ability. Go into reading or writing or playing music or listening to music or another art form to get your mind off of things. I think that helps a lot too. Is to do something else. Watch a movie, listen to something else. Listen to a podcast or something a little bit different to get your mind off of things. I think that's pretty critical and important and stuff in terms of giving yourself the space a little bit to learn and be successful and those type of things to help yourself out a little bit. I'm finding my line art. Where's my line art? Holy smoke, where'd it go? There it is. Okay, let's go back in and play with this a little bit more. So yeah, take those big pieces, break them down. That'll help you get energized in terms of the project that you're doing. If you're trying to do a whole comic book, go do a page. Go do a couple panels of your comic. Break those big projects down. We were talking about you go to different forms of art or art abilities. Maybe you're a sculptor and you know how to sculpt, but you're focused on doing charcoal drawing or something else. Change it up a little bit. Do something different. Don't do the same old, same old. Get into another creative ability that you have that is a strength of yours, and how can you to work from that and build yourself up from that. I think there's a lot of things that you can do there to help yourself. To me, it's like we were talking about artist block and those type of things. And what do you do, Paul? Sometimes I draw things I enjoy, and sometimes I'll sit there and I'll draw, something like this, what I'm doing right now, or I'll draw, something fun. Maybe I'm drawing Rigby and Mordecai from the regular show, or something crazy like that, or working with the colors from Adventure Time and that type of stuff. There's all different ways you can work in terms of mixing it up a little bit and drawing differently in terms of how you, instead of the same old, how you would draw. Like today, I'm just giving the example, just doing some, we drew Spawn earlier, and now we're drawing the Violator or whatever. And just having fun with it, and just getting back in your creative zone and like, wow, I'm going to work on that. This might not be the how detailed I do something for a storyboard, but I just think it's fun. It gets your mind off of stuff, helps you continue being creative, doing something different, and I just think it's fun. I enjoy it. I have fun drawing this type of stuff. Haven't drawn it for a long time. You find those inspirational type of things to get you jazzed up and have some fun. And I just think it's pretty cool. And so many people with so much talent out there. Like we were talking about before, don't compare yourself to people. You know, just try do those things that you enjoy, and have some fun with it. I think you should always be drawing the things that you enjoy. 'Cause you never know. Maybe Bloomhouse, Todd McFarlane might give me a call and say, "Hey, Paulie, we want you to storyboard our film." I'd be like, "Oh, I'll be right there." I think it's fun stuff. I always liked, I guess it was the Twitch cop, the cop in there. His name was Twitch. Just the sharpshooter sound in Twitch, but I like Twitch. I just think it's fun. It's So what other ways that we can do to keep ourselves motivated in terms of what we're doing? I hope I don't like that so much. The other thing, like we talked about drawing prompts. The other thing too, another cool little idea to do is, let's just say you're having a bad art day and just nothing's working for you, and you're like, man, I'm just having a bad art day. Sometimes grab a piece of artwork that you had done before. Maybe it was a couple years ago, and you have a piece of artwork that you created, and go redraw it. And in that redraw of that artwork, you can sort of prove to yourself how far you've come, in your drawing ability. And I think that's pretty cool. And go have some fun with it, and just go challenge yourself. Draw that drawing. Maybe you did a drawing of Woody and Buzz Lightyear, and you go back again and draw it again now with your skill sets, and you sit there and you impress yourself of how far you've come in your artwork, and that's always a pleasure to see and know that you did it. And that's pretty cool to do. It's just find it all, bust out your sketchbook. In your sketchbook, go find that work that you did, and redraw it again. I think that's a pretty cool little challenge there for you, and have some fun with that. That's another way to get yourself re-inspired again. Let me know in the chat if some of these tips and tricks are helping you as we're drawing along here, in terms of your creative block, and getting that stuff going. Another thing too is get inspired. Try a different brush. Maybe you always use a certain, like right now I'm just using a solid flat brush right now as I'm drawing my Violator character here. Maybe you try a different brush, try a different technique, try something else, try a different piece of software to draw in, and see if that helps you and helps to inspire you to get you back on track from drawing. So change up your brush, maybe even change up your element. You'll see me, I'll go bust out with Sharpies or colored pens or something like that. I had these whoops, I have these Pentel pens. I'll draw in pink or baby blue or something like that, and you know, I'll do it differently. Maybe I'll draw in pencil, and I'll just bust out pencils, and I'll draw in pencil. Mix it up, mix your media up a little bit. Maybe I'll paint for a while or do something a little bit different. I think there's all different ways that we can work and do things just a tad differently. And just have fun with it, you know. What I mean by that is like try some new art supplies. You go to the art supply store, draw some new supply. You can buy some new supplies and kick it around a little bit, and have some fun. And maybe you go and you buy some clay and you sculpt a little bit. Do something a little bit different, you know. Don't do the same old in terms of how you're working, you know. Those are some tips and tricks to keep you jazzed and keep you excited about what you're doing and how you're doing it and stuff. So you know, another thing too is watching YouTube videos. You know, watch another artist working. That might inspire you to get going too. So you know, it's like I appreciate you watching my channel here, but you use some of those things for yourself as you're drawing. You know, and you know, get the inspiration. There's a lot of artists out there doing some great work out there, and have some fun with it, you know, and you know, go learn and go get inspired from other people, and see what you can learn from it. And you know, I think it's always good if you have your favorite artist out there, you know. I'll tend to, like, if I'm in a block or something, I'll sit there and go, well, I'll look at some of my all-time favorite comic artists. You know, like right now I'm drawing a little bit from the Violator from Spawn. I believe John Leguizamo played him in the Spawn movie. And just that sort of gets me jazzed up a little bit, do something a little bit different in terms of you know, what I'm doing and working on and stuff. So just having fun, just playing around and doodling, and that's part of the fun about sketching and stuff, is that you want to give yourself the time to have fun, create, do something different, something you don't usually do. When I usually, you know, I'm not storyboarding a Spawn movie right now. That'd be super cool to be able to get that opportunity to do that, but I know they're working on a live action one through Bloomhouse, and that would be like a freaking cool job to do. I'd have a blast doing that. But it's like you know, find those things that inspire you and get you going. You know, so watch those YouTube videos and stuff, and I appreciate you watching me, and I hope I can inspire you as you inspire me in terms of what we're doing here. So I'm just having fun. Man, I'm detailing the heck out of this thing. That's crazy. That is crazy. Yeah, Todd McFarlane, man, he goes to town when it comes to detail, man. When you buy one of his books, holy smoke, you're getting your money's worth. There's so much detail. I don't know how the guy does it. Holy smoke. It's a lot of fun to draw these creatures and hell things and stuff. So I got my buddy Adam on. Hey, different brush is similar to what I was thinking. Drawn a dumb blunt Sharpie on lined notebook paper. Yeah, that's what I do. I get, let's see. I use like this is sort of, let me turn my big Paul back on. You'll see a lot of my artwork on Instagram And sometimes in the videos, I'll have to do that again where I do a traditional study. I use my camera. Let's see. Come on, camera. Come on, big camera. Let's try this one more time. Turn it off. Sometimes the camera doesn't focus. Come on, camera. I think we're close up. Okay, well, let's turn it off. It's not working the way it wants to work right now. Let's turn that off. Okay, so again, I use just a Sharpie, and then I use just a Papermate regular ink pen, black pen, and I'll work with those two, and that just helps you keep sort of organized there and helps you do something different. Adam also says, I feel like my best stuff is done on my junk mail, probably because it's not precious. Yeah, I as a storyboard artist, you can't fall in love with your work. You sort of got to just tell the story, tell the visual image, and get it done. I tend to not fall in love with my work. I say, I'm horrible too at the same time. I save everything because I have so many ideas and concepts and things I'm doing, and I got boxes and boxes and piles of sketchbooks just pulling off my shelf here. It's just like, here's like a pile of sketchbooks. I got these black sketchbooks everywhere in my office, all organized and stuff. So, but I use them for inspiration too. So if I'm having a bad drawing day, I'll bust it out and I'll sit there and go, remember the day when you drew that garbage stuff, or you're so much better today, Paul, than you used to be, years ago. I was looking at one of my sketchbooks and it said 2002. And I have ones that go back to, I started sketchbooking when I was back in high school, my first high school art class, and I have my original drawings there, and I just sit there and I look at my, that's the first time I started cataloging my artwork, besides, saving pictures when I was a kid and stuff like that. I remember drawing comics when I was in junior high and stuff like that, and saved all that artwork and stuff. So I always said one day if I ever do one of those, Paul Angeli art books or something, you go back to some of your Star Wars drawings and goofy drawings and stuff to remind yourself where you came from to how you draw today. So yeah. So Adam said, I feel like my best stuff is done on my junk mail, probably because it's not precious. Yeah, definitely. It's always when you're not paying attention. It's like, boom, you'll draw a gem. Then Adam says, or simply drawing in a different color helps me, in Photoshop or Storyboard Pro. Yeah, that's why I bust out, I know I'm in black and white, but I have a pink pen, a blue pen. Sometimes I'll, when I'm drawing more comic book stuff, I'll draw in photo blue, and, those type of things to get that going. And Adam says, it seems like we should treat our storyboard art like gesture drawings. Just do them as needed, but don't get too attached to them. Yeah, Tornado T, big time. Don't fall in love with your drawing. On a project, or whether it be a live action project or a feature animation, whatever project you might be working on, you got to remember, it's about telling story. It's about hitting the director's vision. It's about telling story. And it's about, sometimes there's fantastic things we want to do in a live action video. And you can't fall in love, or a live action film, and you can't fall in love with that sequence you did. Because that sequence, might get cut. Your director might come back to you saying, hey, that's a fantastic sequence, Polly, but I'd like you to see it do it like this, and I'd like this character over here. And there's always notes. We call it notes, right? And so you'll get some notes on some of that stuff. And so you got to be able to be flexible, and you got to it's about pushing the story. It's about pushing, how is that vision of the director going to work out? And I think if you focus on those right things, that'll keep you, happy and keep you productive of what you're doing. So, like I said, drawing with silly little lines, drawing with shapes. And I think in a lot of my live streams, I'll just draw in blunt. We did the last one on how to draw in silhouette. So we're just drawing in blocks of black color. Other ways is just you use that big blocky line, where and just draw from there. You got the basic shape down, and then draw from there. It's almost like I believe his name, the artist, was Ed Emberley. When I was a kid, he would use like a thumbprint. You go and get your thumb on an ink pad, put your thumbprint on the page, and he'd draw these little characters and stuff off of thumbprints and stuff. I remember when I was a kid, I would just be checking those out from the public school library and just be like drawing and having a good time. And they showed you some basic structure of shapes of how to draw those things. So it's funny how Adam was talking about just drawing just a silly drawing might be end up being a gem, or sometimes just drawing with a wiggly line or a single line and don't lift it off the page. That helps you get rejuiced back up. Another thing too is doing master studies. There might be an artist that you love their work, and you're like, hey, I'm going to continue. I'm going to study that work, and how can I use that style in terms of what I'm doing and how I can go forward in the craft I'm doing. And those are pretty fun little projects to do as well. So that's some fun stuff. You can do as well. That's pretty cool. So this violator has like this pumpkin type thing on him there. In terms of what we're doing here, as I'm drawing and talking and continuing on this journey here with you, friends. So, like I said, doing master studies. Maybe there's an artist that you love. Maybe you love Frank Franzetta, and you're going to draw like him, There's different ways, or like here tonight I'm using somebody like Todd McFarlane or Greg Capullo, and sort of drawing the Spawn character. Do your master studies, just have some fun with it. That gets you rejuvenated and stuff about what you're doing, and having fun with it. So I think it's fun. So we've talked about reverse storyboarding as well, and how could you use reverse storyboarding in terms of keeping yourself. There's this an artist out there on Instagram, I see, Sachin, and they're doing just a film study of Raiders of the Lost Ark. The artist is drawing every single shot from Raiders of the Lost Ark, and that helps you in a couple ways. It's teaching you film language. You're studying, from Steven Spielberg. You're, it's a little bit different in terms of what you're doing there, and you're having some fun with it and stuff. So, and that's a way. That's another type of master study. And what I mean by that is that he's just watching the movie, pauses the movie, does a quick sketch of each of the shots of the film, and sort of goes from there. So that's a master study. And then just doing art challenges, like we're talking about this Todd McFarlane challenge that he's doing with his Spawn comic and stuff. So like I said, Serenity T says, it seems like we should treat our storyboard art like gesture drawings, do them as needed, but don't get too attached to them. Yeah, there's a time and place, and I think it's your discussion with your client or director of how far do you want to go with this particular artwork, and what you're trying to accomplish with it, and what do they want it in, just in line art? Do they want it with some value to it, or tones? Keep your tones simple so that they're clear and concise. On top of that, maybe it's full color. So do those things, because we see a final board, that I do them all the time too, and maybe that's going to be for a publication. It might not be what we're delivering for an animatic. So, or sometimes they're high end, and they want to see that. You sit there and look at the Mad Max film. Every shot was comic booked out pretty much for the entire movie. Adam said here, Ed Emberley, I learned to draw from him, and Commander Mark, cool. Yeah, no, I remember getting those books when I was a kid, and just it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the work, and learned a lot from it, and drew it at that time. If you asked me, Paul, you're going to be a pro artist one of these days, I never would have thought of that one back then. And it's so cool. I get so jazzed about it. And you sit there and you go, well, how did you learn? Simple as that. And I think having this simple things helps you to learn, what you're doing and how to do it. I think that's pretty cool. We're always learning all the time, having fun and doing these things. Boy, this is a cool character. So yeah, so many different things to get you motivated. I think it's, like I said, every once in a while, I'll have that fatigue cut in or block me a little bit. But I think you got to be always weary, and always on top of yourself too, to keep yourself productive and to get these jobs done that you need to get done. I think it's super important. In terms of how you're working and how you're getting things done. See if I get these eyes to glow a little bit. Throw another layer in there. Look up those layers. Yeah, it's looking pretty slick. So, to me, I think I think there's a part of the professionalism that you want to be as a storyboard artist, and to keep productive in terms of what you're doing, because you don't want to let your client down. You want to make sure that you follow through on the projects you're doing and working on. I think that's pretty darn important, and I think you need to work hard at keeping that momentum up. There might be a project you're not jazzed about, but you need to take the job, and you got to stay professional about what you're doing and how you're doing it and stuff. I think that's critically important. To stay professional always. Come through. If you made a commitment to your client or your director and say you're going to get that work done, get that work done. And make sure you get it in on time. So, boy, I haven't drawn comic stuff in a while. I'm having fun with this. So it's like always keep yourself jazzed and creative and those type of things. So we've talked a lot about it. What are the impacts? I think it's keeping your mental state clear and being organized, being clean in your environment that you're working in. Some people like the chaos, and that's cool. Maybe uh, and there's nothing bad. There's no right or wrong. You got to do what's good for you, and roll from that. I think that is so important. You got to do you. You know, all I'm here is trying to give you tips and tricks that could help you and do it your own way. I was talking to one of our friends here on the channel, Andreas. It's like, do those things that you enjoy and do it your own way, and create the work that you want to create, and have some fun with it. So, use, not necessarily drawing what I'm drawing, but draw those things that you enjoy and you have fun doing, and do it your own way. This is your journey. I'm here, and I hope these YouTube live streams get you jazzed up, get you, help to inspire you, keep you motivated. I'm motivated by you joining and hanging out with me. I appreciate everybody and their support of this channel. It's a new channel. It's a budding channel. It's been growing super quickly, and I appreciate everybody's help on helping me grow this channel and reach more artists out there, and hopefully I can help make a difference in other people in their careers, whether we meet on a film project, or we're meeting on an animation project or something down the road, or we're hanging out at Lightbox or something like that, and you say, oh yeah, there's Polly, hey, what's up, come and introduce yourself. This is something we can grow and hang out with and learn from together, and have some fun with what we're doing here. I have great fun putting on these live streams, and they're a lot of fun. So I hope you've learned a lot tonight. Talking about the struggles of an artist with artistic blocks and things like that. I hope I've given you and shared with you some real world ways that you can possibly fix alternatives to help you with those blocks, and how some different workarounds of how you can work around some of those blocks, and get you to be successful for what you're doing, so when they do occur, you can rebound real quick and fix yourself with that. And that's sort of cool. Get some really cool tones now. Having fun with this now. Well, you know what I better do is throw a save on this. That would be pretty darn smart. Cool. Having some fun with it there. I'm gonna have to take a picture of this and put this on Instagram or something. That's sort of cool. Let's see here. Let's try something else here. Try something else on there. He's like something to pop out. Let's drop that down a bit. That's sort of cool. Oh, you know what I lost? I lost all my white of the teeth. That's what happened. Because I never painted it in. Oh, darn it. I gotta go back and add all the way to the teeth. So, like I said, we pointed out some issues that arise for us artists out there, and utilize those tips and tricks, and stuff. So before we close out for the night, any other questions out there, or anything we can chat about, or just curious while I'm sitting here drawing. When I added the dark background, I lost all my teeth, the violator teeth. That's the cool part. Yeah, drop it in the chat if you have any other questions on there. I hope tonight's chat helped to fire you up and to get you going too, you know, and get you inspired and get you going for tonight. Any questions, draw it in there. Yeah, thanks so much, Tornado T. Yeah, having fun with this. Yeah, thanks, Maria. Yeah, I haven't drawn this creature in a while. See, this I said, you get reinvigorated, you get re-inspired. You draw stuff that you enjoy drawing, and just bring sort of that juice back, that fire and stuff. A couple little highlights here. Having some fun. Yeah, I'll have to throw this up on Instagram. That's pretty cool. And a little bit more gray in there. Awesome. Look that. Yeah, I haven't drawn a comic in a while. Gotta ante up. It's been too long. In terms of what I'm doing here. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So again, I'll leave it open for anybody in the chat. Is there any other questions or anything like that, or art blocks or things that you're running into that I can help work with you on, and those type of things? Drop it in the chat. Love to hear back. So okay. Well, very cool. Well, if nobody has anything else, again, my name is Paul Angeli. I'm a live action storyboard artist. I appreciate you joining in tonight and hanging out with me and having some fun as we talk about what are some of the issues for art block, and how do we get around it? How do we beat art block and beat that issue? So again, feel free, if you got a question for me, shoot me a DM if you have a question or want to talk further about that or other ideas to get you re-inspired. Drop me an email. Let me leave you my contact information here. And of course, Maria, no problem. Happy to help out before I log off here. But again, reach out to me anytime. DM me. Throw me an email or something. I'll try to get back as soon as I can when I'm not working or I got a free moment. I got a lot of people sharing their animatics with me, and I'll get back to everybody and when I get a free chance and stuff. So appreciate the feedback, appreciate your support, and if you're watching this in the replay, thanks for watching. Again, please take a moment, please support my channel by subscribing. Don't forget to click that bell notification button to be reminded when the next video posts. We'll be coming back to you on Saturday for our jam session and our storyboard jam session. And again, when you're done watching this video, we got I think 43 different live streams to watch for your viewing pleasure, to hopefully give you some tutorials and how-tos to become a storyboard artist. And I hope that helps you out and gives you some knowledge and some muscles there and helps you out. And again, on the chat, Maria, no problem. Happy you joined in. Tornado T, thanks so much for joining in. Thanks for the stream, Paul. It's always a pleasure, as always. And man, it's a pleasure for me just to have you join on. Appreciate you. And then Adam, no questions from me. Thanks so much for another stream. Hey, you're welcome, Adam. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy day to come and hang out. I also had HMT jump on for a little bit there too. And so I appreciate everybody checking it out. But let me leave you with my contact information, and then we'll sign off for the night. Okay, so you can, again, my name is Paul Angeli. I'm a live action storyboard artist. You can reach my email either for inquiries or to contact, to get in touch at mr.paul.angeli@gmail.com. And you can reach me on my website as well at www.paulangeli.com. You can reach me at any time on Instagram. Just DM me, and I'd be happy to chat with you. And here on the YouTube channel, again, appreciate you joining in. I will catch you on Saturday. Have a fantastic evening, and keep drawing, my friends. And I'll talk to you on the next chat. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you later.